Shalom and welcome back to the Crazy Hair channel. I've been waiting like the whole setup to say that because I'm just goofy today. I didn't brush my hair after I showered. Worked out, I showered. Shout out to Starpoint Church. Got my shirt on, and this one, like, you wear church shirts and given to you by people of God, like even my Caleb House hoodie, and you just feel stronger. You're like, I'm closer to God. You know, I had a guy tell me, because I wear the Z seat, I'm not wearing them right now, but I'm actually going to put them on while I'm talking. I'm going to wear these ones, because I didn't make these. These were given to me, and these are wonderful Z-Seat. But I had a guy at a church mention about my Z-Seat one time, and he was telling me that, he was like, I just got a prayer shawl. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And he's like, I feel so close to God when I wear it. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're supposed to wear it. You know, it's not about wearing, you know, these certain, I don't know, like, you feel closer to God when you're doing God's commands. You're supposed to be wearing Z-Seat, wear the Z-Seat. I haven't been, sometimes I do these at the end of the day in my pajamas in the very early morning, and I don't have my Z-Seat on. I should be wearing my Z-Seat as an example, but I wear them when I leave my house, because it's also like, if you're always wearing them, like, how's it said? Numbers 15:37. 38. Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them to make Z-Seat on the corner of their garments throughout their generations, and to put a blue cord in the Z-Seat of the corner. And it shall be to you a Z-Seat, and you shall see it, and remember all the commands of YHWH, and shall do them, and not search after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you went whoring, so that you remember and shall do all my commands, and be set apart unto your Elohim. We all whore. We all whore. It's not a physical whoring, it is a spiritual whoring. So whether even physical whoring is spiritual whoring. Working on Shabbat, spiritual whoring. Sitting down and watching TV all day, spiritual whoring. I suggest that you play these while you're at work. You play them while you're driving. I'm beautiful, but sitting and looking at me isn't going to help you learn the word. So this is not as much a visual learning course as it is a listening learning course, and also read along learning course. So better than any of it, you're looking at your Bible while you're paying attention to this. But if not, listening, and if you want to sit and look at me and my crazy hair, yeah, go for it. See, I'm trying to even out the craziness. Be crazy on both sides. It's the way, like, the way that my hair, my barber cuts it, it's all goofy. That's a really banging picture, but I was making muffins too, little bun cakes, and I was like, that would be a really good picture, because I know you guys like my bread. Let's pray. Father YHWH Elohim, forgive me for my sins. Allow me to forgive those who sin against me. Let there not be unanswered bindings among me or my people. Feed me today, spiritually, physically. Help me feed others, spiritually, physically. Father YHWH, you have more power and authority than any other being or source on this earth, because all are sourced from you. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In Yeshua's name, amen. Kind of tailed off into the Lord's Prayer, as they call it. I want to read that real quick, too. Matthew 6. Man, those muffins smell banging. Banging delicious. Our Father who is in the heavens, let your name be set apart. Let your reign come, let your desire be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one, because yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. Amen. Okay. That's how it's written in my word. Personally, I grew up with that as a Catholic, but I appreciate it so much more now. Pastor Joe had a really good sermon on it, but what did it for me was the comprehensive understanding of the meeting of needs in that passage. We give credit to Elohim, our Father, our Creator, who is in the heavens. Let your name be set apart. Not abused. Do not take the Lord's name in vain. Have no gods but me. Let your reign come, and let your desire be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love God. Love your neighbor as yourself. Give us today our daily bread. Do not confuse the fact that you love your neighbor with the fact that you have to love yourself to love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? So, don't go giving away house and home for neighbor. Yeah, I said it. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one, because yours is the reign and the power and the esteem forever. Amen. Yeshua, we need you. We cry out for you. Job 28. Indeed, there is a mine for silver, and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted from ore. An end to darkness he has set, and to every limit he is searching, to rocks in deepest darkness. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. Earth out of which grows food is turned underneath as by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. No bird of prey knows the path, nor has the hawk's eye seen it. The proud beast have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. He puts his hand on the flint. He shall overturn the mountains as at the roots. He cuts out channels in the rocks, and his eye sees every precious gem. He dams up the sources of the river, and he brings to light what is hidden. And wisdom, where is it found? And where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value, and it is not found in the land of the living. The deep has said, it is not in me, and the sea has said, it is not with me. Gold is not given for it, nor is silver weighed out as its price. It is not valued in the gold of Ophir, in precious shoham or sapphire. Gold or crystal are not to be compared with it, nor is it exchanged for a vessel of fine gold. No mention is made of coral or crystal, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. The topaz of Cush is not to be compared with it, nor is it valued in clean gold. And wisdom, from where does it come? And where is the place of understanding? It has been hidden from the eyes of all living, and concealed from the birds of the heavens. Destruction and death have said, with our ears we have heard a report of it. Elohim has understood its way, and he has known its place. For he looks to the end of the earth, see under all the heavens, making a weight for the wind, and measuring out the waters by measure. When he made a law for the rain, and a way for the lightning of thunder. Then he saw wisdom and declared it. He prepared it and also searched it out. And he said to man, see, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding. Okay, so we read Proverbs 3 today, which you should have watched. But this, as I am reminded, is so alike Proverbs 3:13. Blessed is the man who has found wisdom, and the man who gets understanding. For the gain from it is better than gain from silver, and its increase than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all your delights are not comparable to her. Length of days is in her right hand, riches and esteem in her left hand. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those taking hold of her, and blessed are all who retain her. Yahweh founded the earth by wisdom. He established the heavens by understanding. By his knowledge the depths were broken up, and clouds dropped down dew. My son, let them not depart from your eyes. Watch over sound wisdom and discretion. All right. I just want to see, because the Proverbs were written to, we might have even looked at this at one point. The Proverbs are written from from Solomon to his son. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, sovereign of Israel. So David writes the Psalms, Solomon writes the Proverbs. Let's see if we have a date in here. The author of the book is not known. It was composed sometime between the 7th and 5th century BC. Okay. So, to the best of their ability to research, theologians have assessed that Job was written between the 5th and 7th century BC. David and Solomon, I guess for that matter. Let's go to 1 Kings. This New American Bible, I don't know that they all have it, but this one has like historical context. It's even got a timeline in it. And I just want to see like okay, well, we know the timeline of Kings because we can match it up with the exile. So the fall of Jerusalem is in 587 BC. So Job is written right around the time of the books of Kings. All right, that's my 1 minute timer. And perfect timing because we're about to get into the analysis of the text. Woo. Okay, and we're not going to use that to hold. We're going to use this fancy little pot right here. If you're trying to be cool and you use a pot holder, if you use a towel instead of a pot holder, you're probably wrong. Probably wrong. So let's give a I'm going to give 13 minutes more to those muffins, which are actually bun cakes, which I'll show you. That's interesting. A coaster stuck. I should be using coasters. super underrated are coasters. I should show you this table at some point too, because it's very, yeah, it's beat up, but it was free, and it's nice. It's cool. All right. So Job, written around the time of First Kings. Solomon is in the time of First Kings. So Proverbs, Job, a lot happening in that time period. The prophets all seem to be happening simultaneously. Like, so it's kind of like if we look at it, like we get Joshua, we get Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, and then Samuel, Kings. You know, like I think what is it like? All these things start happening kind of rapidly, right? And then like all of a sudden there's the Messiah, and we haven't heard anything from God since. We haven't heard anything from God since. Indeed, there is a mine for silver and a place where gold is refined. Yup, these are physical. Iron is taken from the earth and copper is smelted from ore. An end to darkness he has set, and to every limit he is searching, to rocks in deepest darkness. Okay, so the he here, who is the he? Because it is not God. 4:28, 1 to 28. Note the changed order of verses. Verse 4 is uncertain. The chapter contains a beautifully vivid description of wisdom which is beyond the attainment of creatures. Known only to God, it is reflected in the order and majesty of his creation. Man, however, I don't really want their position on this. He sinks into a okay. So what I'm really looking for is if there's, because I have lowercase h's here, so presumably he's not God. But who is the he here? He is the defiled one. Going back into 27, because this is Job speaking, started in 27. Actually started in 26. Job says 26. He again took up his discourse in 27. And he actually again takes up his discourse in 29. I should be on the other side. So the defiled one is the only he. He's not saying me. He's not talking about his despair. And he's not talking about God, because that would be capital. None of them have capital. This one's got all kinds of okay. So we have all right. So presumably this is the defiled one, as far as we know right now. The only he that this could be referencing is the defiled one. The New American Bible says that this possibly was not even written in this context. I don't believe that, because I think presumably all the other translations have Job 28 as Job 28. So sometimes, like I said, this book just kind of gives floppy historical disciplines. Okay. An end to darkness he has set. Okay. An end to darkness he has set, and to every limit he is searching, to rocks in the deepest darkness. He opens a shaft far from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. Earth, out of which grows food, is turned underneath as by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. No birds of prey know the path, nor has the hawk's eye seen it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. This presumably being the path. Okay, so the New World Translation has man. Man conquers the darkness. He probes to the limit in the gloom and darkness, searching for ore. And the only reason that makes sense is that in order for this to be a defiled one, there is likely not an end to darkness he has set. Claps its hands at him, and it hisses him out of his place. Alright. He opened a shaft. He sinks a shaft far from where people reside, in forgotten places, far from where people walk. Some men descend and swing suspended. They hang far away from men, they swing to and fro. He opens a shaft far from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. See, this one doesn't even have a verse 4, so I'm going to actually grab another Bible, because the New American Bible is unsatisfactory right now. But don't you worry, I've got plenty. So, we're going to grab... because 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Shout out... I was going to say the Harvest Church in North Carolina. Shout out to Harvest Church in North Carolina. It's also looking for like ownership. There's better put together copies than this, but I went to 6 churches. Oh yeah, Harvest International Mission. This is it's called Harvest Church in North Carolina. I went to 6 churches when I was in North Carolina, in a city called Salisbury. A local told me they call it Shutesbury because of the violence there, and like could not go to a gas station without getting hit up by crackheads, and did some good works out there. Gave away a lot of Bibles. That was where I ended up meeting this man on a porch and took him to dinner. Yeah, I said I was going to dinner with somebody. And so I went to took this man out to dinner. Sorry. There was a man who knocked on the door of my Airbnb who I decided to go to dinner with. And he was cool. We went out, we played pool, we had a couple drinks, and we got like duck something from The only place that I could find that was open at that point was a Thai place. And so we got duck something, ate it at a bar, played pool, and I gave him a Bible, and we prayed. It was raining. We went to the projects, it was like Compton looking projects, like where it was like real small houses with like duplex, and you could just tell that there was like nobody owned there. It was like everything was transient. So I go to, after dinner we go to pray. It's raining, middle of the projects in North Carolina, and we prayed. He had these white pants on. They only had white at the knees. They were black sweatpants with white across the knees. And I was like, yo, like, get down on your knees. And he's like, but my pants. I was like, I don't give a fuck. You won't give your pants to Elohim. And we prayed. In the rain, in the mud, in the projects. This man had white pants on and the leftovers from the Thai food. And we prayed. Praise Yah. I ran out of Bibles. I'd given him a Bible. And man, that man wanted to come with me, and I should have let him come with me, because I didn't understand building a team the way I do now. Life lessons. Ran out of Bibles, went to 5 churches in the town of Salisbury: Methodist, Episcopal, Baptist, Protestant, and I think another a Lutheran or something, Assembly of God, some weird one that I went on my way out of town, and not a single one had Bibles to give me. I saw, as I was driving out of town, this church on the left. I was on the phone with my mom, and the Spirit moved me to go to this church. I don't remember what the man's name was, but it definitely was Harvest Church. And he was a nice man, and I said, hey, I'm out here giving Bibles out. Any chance that you have Bibles to give me? There's some banging muffins. Any chance that you have Bibles to give me? And he said, yeah, I do. He was the first person that had said, yeah, I got you. So shout out that man. I want to say Brian was his name. Totally should have gotten his name, but he gave me, they weren't in the best condition, but he had like 30 of them, and he was actually replacing them. And so he gave me these King James Bibles, which are not my favorite, but for somebody who has no Bible, that's why I still have this one. I got a couple more too. Somebody who has no Bible, man, I look at these, and I got 6 of these, and I have 4 left, and then I got 8 of these in Louisiana. Some kids screamed at me across the highway, told me that they went to college down there. I said, I'm following you to your college because I thought that would be a great place to spread the word. They pull up to the Baptist chapel on the campus, and I get out, I start talking to the pastor, we start talking. Clayton, and what was the other guy's name? Oh, it's in my phone. I want to say Lewis, but that wasn't it. I remember Clayton because it's such a unique name. But this guy was a real good guy. They didn't know that they were following the Spirit. They yelled at me trying to start stuff between a New Yorker, because I have my license plate, and they said that they were from Boston. And so they led me right to the chapel where the pastor had 8. He had more. I only took 8. But he had a whole bunch of Bibles that he was like, again, replacing his Bibles. And he's like, I don't know, what do you do with old Bibles, And so I took them. He had Bibles to give me. They led me right to a place to get Bibles when I was out of Bibles. And there they were. So, I've now got ESVs, KJVs, that I didn't even buy. I've been given many King James Bibles, which is good and ironic because they're the only free one, and so I've got many of them. But let's go see what chapter 28 says. Oh yeah. Okay. Surely there is a vein for the silver and a place for gold where they find it. Iron is taken out of the earth and brass is molten out of the stone. He setteth an end to darkness and searcheth out all perfection, the stones of darkness and the shadow of death. Ooh. He setteth an end to darkness and searcheth out all perfection, the stones of darkness and the shadow of death. This one's got the shadow of death kind of crowbarred in there. The flood breaketh out from the inhabitant, even the waters forgotten of the foot. They are dried up, they are gone away from men. Okay. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. Now, could I just be using Bible Hub right now? Yeah, probably. But this way I'm not like... This is what you should be doing, is having literally 5 Bibles out. Oh, look, you get to see the table. It's having literally 5 Bibles out and looking through them all. But you're welcome that I'm doing this work for you. Don't thank me, thank him. Made possible by the creator of the universe. Okay. Man puts an end to darkness and searches out the farthest limit, the ore in gloom and deep darkness. Okay. He opens shafts in a valley away from where anyone lives. They are forgotten by travelers. They hang in the air far away from mankind. They swing to and fro. Okay. So, this is good. We're getting somewhere. Because the objects that I'm seeing here are we've got let's take this from the top here. Indeed, there is a mine for silver. We've got rocks, we've got a flood, like a dam, shaft, flood, dam, rocks, or precious metals. The picture's starting to come together. Indeed, there is a mine for silver, and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted from ore. An end to darkness he has set, and to every limit he is searching, to rocks in deepest darkness. Okay. So, indeed there is a mine for silver and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted from ore. An end to darkness he has set. The end to darkness is these precious metals, the mining for precious metals, and the accumulated wealth associated with it is the end to darkness. That we're sticking with the defiled one for now, but we're sticking with the defiled one for now. And to every limit he is searching. He is searching to every limit. Like there's one that says it. Searches out to the farthest limit. Probes to the limit. To the farthest confines he penetrates. He is going as far as he needs to go to acquire these precious metals and achieve the end to darkness that he perceives via possession of these precious metals. Okay. He opens a shaft from far away. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. They hang far from men. They swing to and fro. They are forgotten by feet. Even the water is forgotten of the foot. He sinks a shaft far from where people reside, in forgotten places far from where people walk. Okay, so it's the walking. It's the movement of the foot. They are forgotten by travelers. Okay. He opens a shaft far from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. The man in the shaft. They hang far from men. They swing to and fro. They hang in the air far away from mankind. They swing to and fro. Okay, so this shaft is not. The flood breaketh out from the inhabitant, even the waters forgotten of the foot. They are dried up, they are gone away from men. Okay. This shaft is not likely a dam. This shaft is the mine itself. Okay, so we're looking at 1 to 4 as one passage, like as one, togetherness. Okay, so he opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. So he's going to find a shaft, he's going to find a mine where nobody's going to walk by and see him. They are forgotten by feet. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. All these are colons, semicolons. I don't like that one. This one doesn't have a verse 4. He opens a shaft in a valley far away from where anyone lives. They are forgotten by travelers. They hang in the air far away from mankind. They swing to and fro. He sinks a shaft far from where people reside, in forgotten places, far from where people walk. Some men descend and swing suspended. Okay, some men descend and swing suspended. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. Oh. What plurality do we have here? We have stones rocks and we have metals. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. And swing suspended. Swing suspended. We have another swing to and fro somewhere. Texting mom. Did you text mom today? Oh, swing to and fro. Job 28:4. I know there's another one. 13:25. Would you frighten a leaf driven to and fro, and would you pursue dry stubble? So let's go to Job 13. And the reason that we do this like this is for transliterary effect. Because we don't speak Hebrew. And so if there's this many translations, there's this many ways to interpret something. Like, even if you get a text message from somebody and you're like, oh, I read it this way. And they're like, oh, well, I said it this way. Okay, well, 5 different people reading and interpreting something, you get the idea. You know what I mean? Like you can plug in different switches to the circuit board and see what lights up. Okay. Will you try to frighten a wind-blown leaf or chase after dry stubble? A wind-blown, a leaf driven to and fro. Wilt thou break a leaf driven to and fro? Okay, well, that's not helpful. Will you harass a wind-driven leaf? Will you frighten a driven leaf, and pursue dry chaff? Okay. So they swing to and fro. They're evasive. Would you pursue? Will you harass a wind-driven leaf? Will you frighten a driven leaf? Will you try to frighten a wind-blown leaf? They'll break a leaf. Frighten, harass. Would you frighten a leaf driven to and fro? Shoon about. The rocks are strewn about. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. Okay. The rocks are strewn about. The men have to go to untold depths to acquire these rocks. In shafts and mines where they're forgotten by other people, they're far away from men. Praise Yahweh. Sorry. Thank you for the revelation, Yahweh. They're strewn about. These metals are strewn about. Earth out of which grows food. Let's get everything back onto. Earth out of which grows food is turned underneath as by fire. Its stones are the places of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. No bird of prey knows the path, nor has hawk's eyes seen it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. Even the fiercest of lion wouldn't know if he walked over a gold mine. The proud beasts have not trodden it. The proud beast, the hawk's eye, have not seen it. Okay? A hawk eye. Like, we know that expression. No bird of prey knows its path. This is the picture that we're being painted here. Okay. Praise Yah. Earth out of which grows food is turned underneath as by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphire, and it has dust of gold. Out of which grows food. Food grows on top of the earth, but below there is an upheaval as if by fire. The earth, though out of it comes forth bread, is in fiery upheaval underneath. As for the earth, out of it cometh bread, and under it is turned up as if were fire, as it were fire. Its stones are places of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. This has a footnote that says, or soul. Oh no. It's 27:8. Apparently a reference to mining operations. Is the footnote there. Apparently a reference to mining operations. Earth out of which grows food is turned underneath as by fire. Yeah. Okay. So, on top there's food, but underneath in these mines, we have everything that we need growing out of the top. Yet we dig under the earth, turning it as by fire, like with turmoil, with combustion, with immense amounts of energy and force. We turn the underneath of the earth. To get these metals. Its stones are places of sapphire, and it has dust of gold. Which is the Y. The stones of it are the place of sapphire, and it hath dust of gold. Its stones. Verse 6. Its stones are the source of sapphire, and there is gold in its dust. Okay. So, let's take this from the top. Indeed, there is a mine for silver, and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted from ore. An end to darkness he has set, and to every limit he is searching, to rocks in deepest darkness. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet, they hang far away from men, they swing to and fro. Earth out of which grows food is turned underneath as by fire. Its stones are the place of sapphires, and it has dust of gold. No bird of prey knows the path, nor has the hawk's eye seen it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. Okay. So, indeed there is a mine for silver, and a place where gold is refined. Iron is taken from the earth, and copper is smelted from ore. 4 metals. Associated practices. Physical collection means an end to darkness he has set, and every limit he is searching, to rocks in the deepest darkness. Man has decided that imperfect heart conditions have decided that precious metals are an end to the darkness. Okay? 24:16. In the dark he has broken into houses. By day they shut themselves up. They have not known light. We know this is a reference to Yeshua. John 8:12. I am the light. Genesis 1:3. And Elohim said, let light come to be, and light came to be. Okay? We know that Yeshua is the light. We know that the perfect love is the light. Now, an end to the darkness he has set. The mining, the precious metals, being the defiled one, the corrupted heart's end to darkness, and to every limit he is searching. He will stop at nothing to find the end to darkness, which he believes is in precious metals. To rocks in deepest darkness. To rocks in deepest darkness. To those are he probes to the limit in the gloom and darkness, searching for ore. Yeah. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. They hang far away from men. They swing to and fro. He opens a shaft where nobody will find him in order to mine for these rocks, this ore that is strewn about the earth, far away from men. Earth out of which grows food is turned underneath as by fire. There's tremendous amounts of energy to go underneath and find these metals that have been strewn about underneath the earth. Its stones are places of sapphire, and it has dust of gold. To rocks in deepest darkness. was it? One of them said it really well. The stones of it are the place of sapphires. The stones of the underneath of the earth are the place of sapphires. And it has dust of gold. Okay. So, are we starting to get the picture here? No bird of prey knows the path, nor has hawk's eye seen it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. Birds of prey don't know where it is. Hawk's eyes can't see it. Proud beasts have not trodden it, have not conquered it, have not found it, nor has the fierce lion passed over it. Okay. This is all physical metals. Seclusion in the pursuit of precious metals. He opens a shaft far away from the sojourner. They are forgotten by feet. They are forgotten by walkers. This place is not. Nobody goes to check on him. Nope. They are forgotten by feet. I don't know. I think I've already said this better before. So. Verse 9, he puts his hand on the flint. He shall overturn the mountain at its root. He cuts out channels in the rocks, and his eye sees every precious gem. Again, these are just physical acts of mining. Not gonna make you look at my feet, although my feet are clean, which is good. Let's do this. Okay. He cuts out channels in the rocks, and his eye sees every precious gem. His eye. So the hawk's eye have not seen it, but his eye. What is the eye in Matthew 6? The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, all your body shall be enlightened. But if your eye is evil, all your body shall be darkened. If then the light that is within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? Okay? Bam. An end to darkness he has set. He's trying to end the darkness, find the light, and to every limit he is searching to rocks in deepest darkness. So he's going down in these mines, going deeper and darker into seclusion, as we saw in verse 4, trying to find the light. Paint a more perfect picture of this book and the teachings of Messiah, because Messiah is the Word, and this is the Word. just don't get it. I'm at a crossroads in my life where I can go play Milsim and LARP. I can go join a community that I don't necessarily agree with, I see the potential of, and loves each other very well every day, or I can love my current family. And all three of those are a blessing from the darkness that I came out of at the pizzeria, in that I was working day by day by myself. A lot of seclusion. Being in the mind. Man, praise Yah. Being in the mine shaft every day and night, whether there were people there or not people there, searching for precious metals. Praise Yahuwah. Woo! An earth out of which grows food is turned underneath as by fire. Stones are the place of sapphires. He cuts out channels in the rock, and his eye sees every precious gem. He dams up the sources of the rivers, and he brings to light what is hidden. And wisdom, where is it found? And where is the place of understanding? So these physical acts. So physically now, he's got the gemstones. He's got the rubies. He's got the... We didn't talk about diamonds. They're not brought up too much, other than the breastplate in early Leviticus, I want to say, of all the stones being put on, like for the 12 tribes. I don't know where it is. All right. Whole bunch of stones. We'll get there when we do the Torah. All right. And wisdom, where is it found, and where is the place of understanding? So mine has a note that says see verse 28, which we will see when we get there, but we have a quote from Yahuwah, which is beautiful and an answer to that question, which is rhetorical. Job postulates it to his friends, but let's see where he goes with this, because he's at a place of the physical mining, the work being done for precious metals. And wisdom, where is it found, and where is the place of understanding? Earth is turned underneath as by fire to find these precious stones and metals, and he brings them to light. Wisdom, where is it found, and where is the place of understanding? Just beautiful. Man Exact locations are not known. These items, they're strewn about, but wisdom is very difficult to find. Right here in this book, how many people read this book? How many people actually read this book? I mean, we're probably 20-something hours, a full day worth of life into the book of Job alone at this point. And I never did this before. If you're following along, you've done it now. Did you do this before? Do you know people who spend this time in their word? And I'm not bragging about that. I'm saying, where is it found? And where is the place of understanding? How many hours do you think it takes to mine gold? Little bit? Little bit? I think it's just $2,400 an ounce for no reason. An ounce, a little nugget of gold. Literally, an ounce of gold is this big. This is an ounce of gold. That's $2,500. How many loaves of bread, even at $6 a loaf, is $2,500? 400 loaves of bread for 1 ounce of gold that's not even consumable. 400 loaves of bread. And that's if you buy it full price retail at the grocery store. You can buy a bag of flour for, what did I pay for a bag of flour? $40. I got 55 pounds of bread, some yeast, some oil, sugar, salt. I could make, with $2,400, I could probably make 2,400 loaves of bread. I could not only eat for 6 years, I could feed 6 people for a year. Think about that. For 1 unit of gold, 1 ounce of gold. Man does not know its value, the value of wisdom, and it is not found in the land of the living. You ain't gonna find it underneath the earth. You can't search for it. There's no exploration for it. Right here. These are even, I mean, I've hashtag books of wisdom, but these are even called the books of wisdom. Like, that's how most Bibles refer to this. The deep has said, it is not in me. And the sea has said, it is not with me. The deep often the deep go to the depths. You know, we're talking about the depths of the shaft and the darkness, the deepest darkness. The deep has said, it is not in me. So the deep here, let's see what other translations say. What verse is this? 14. The abyss declares, it is not in me, and the sea says, I have it not. The deep waters say, it is not in me, and the sea says, it is not with me. The deep and the depth. Okay, so to me, that means Sheol. The deep has said, the dark, it is not in me. The darkness, the deep darkness. Maybe that's not Sheol. The depth, the abyss. The deep has said, it is not in me. You can't go down for wisdom. Okay, and wisdom, where is it? 28 is like a the climax of the movie, so to speak. And wisdom, where is it found, and where is the place of understanding? Man does not know its value, and is not found in the land of the living. The deep has said it is not with me. It is not in me. The sea has said it is not with me. It is not found in the land of the living. The deep has said it is not in me. The sea has said it is not with me. Gold is not given for it, nor is silver weighed out at its price. You can't buy wisdom, and nobody will sell you wisdom. Like, nobody says, boy. Let's keep going. It is not valued in the gold of Ophir, in precious Shoham or sapphire. Couldn't have said it better. It is not valued in the gold of Ophir. There's no currency exchange on wisdom. Gold or crystal, that's what I was trying to say. It's not that it's, like, you can buy, you know what I mean? Like, you can go see a pastor and tithe, you can go to a guru, but there's no currency exchange on wisdom. You can't buy bread with wisdom. You can't go to the person at the grocery store and say, listen, Sonny, happiness is not here. It's at home. Where love is. Gold or crystal are not to be compared with it, nor is it exchanged for a vessel of fine gold. You can't even compare it to gold or crystal. Like, even if there wouldn't be a currency exchange. Imagine if everybody just sought wisdom and, like, that was the going commodity. You know what I mean? Like, people were like, wisdom. Like, I don't think it would be very long before we had, like, everybody was monks. You know what I mean? Damn. Oh, boy. No mention is made of coral or crystal, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. We did that in Proverbs 3 today. She is more precious than rubies. Talking of wisdom, 3:15. And in wisdom, no mention is made of coral or crystal. So, just so you know, when you find wisdom, when you talk wisdom, coral or crystal are not going to be spoken of. Like, so all this mining that you did is nothing. And, by the way, diamond on my arm tattooed, and I went to gemology school. So, literally, this hits home. I had gold bars when I was 19 years old. That was what I did with my drug money. How many 19-year-old drug dealers are buying gold bars instead of doing drugs or going out and partying? And that's what I did. And there's value in that for an unwise 19-year-old, but the wisdom would have been to give that money to my family, give that money to my mom, the reason that I was doing it in the first place. So, this is life for me. I get it. I'm doing this, I've lived it. The price of wisdom is above rubies. I've literally got don't know if y'all can see it. My smiley face, the eyes are rubies on the smiley face. Because not only is that my birthstone, but, which I give no credit to, whatever, but my eyes are set on those rubies. That was the analog in getting that. Which, the topaz of Cush is not to be compared with it, nor is it valued in clean gold. And wisdom, from where does it come? And where is the place of understanding? I've got A written here in 20 and 12. And wisdom, where is it found, and where is the place of understanding? It's again stated. Topaz of gold is not to be compared with it, nor is it valued in clean gold. And wisdom, from where does it come? Like, where can you even find it? Which, it's pretty much the exact same phrasing, the exact same thing. Asked in 12, which is cool because he postulates the same question twice. And I like that because sometimes you need to, like, so I ask you again, where is wisdom? Let me say it a little differently. Where does it come from? It has been hidden from the eyes of all living and concealed from the birds of the heavens. Okay, so no bird of prey knows the path, but it's not necessarily concealed from them, nor has the hawk's eye seen it. Now we've got wisdom, which is concealed from the birds of the heavens, which destruction and death have said, with our ears we have heard a report of it. Destruction and death have said, with our ears we have heard a report of it. Elohim has understood its way, and he has known its place. Destruction and death have heard a report of it. Of wisdom, destruction and death have heard a report. They do not know it, but they have heard a report of it. Destruction and death say, our ears have heard only a report of it. Abaddon and death say, we have heard a rumor of it with our ears. God understands the way to it, and he knows its place. Destruction and death say, we have heard the fame thereof with our ears. The fame. Ugh. Abaddon and death say, only by rumor have we heard of it. Yeah. 'Cause they don't have it. For all of them, mourning is the same as the shadow of death, where he discerns the extreme fears of the shadow of death. Destruction and death have said, with our ears we have heard a report of it. That's all that they have of it, is a report. They've heard a rumor of it. They've heard the fame of it. Death and destruction cannot comprehend wisdom. Boy, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Yahweh has given us so much. God is so great. God is so glorious. God gives us everything that we need. It's all right here in black and white. Woo! Wow. Thank you guys for your appreciation of this. I can feel the love. I can feel that you guys are learning from this. You guys need this. And I am willful to give it to you. Elohim has understood its way, and he has known its place. For he looks to the ends of the earth, sees under all the heavens, he, God, YHWH Elohim. He can see under all the heavens, looks to the end of the earth, making a weight for the wind and measuring out the waters by measure. Measuring out the waters by measure. Is it Matthew or is it... I think it's John. John 3 or 5. John 3:34. Starting 27. Yohanan answered and said, no man is able to receive any matter unless it is given to him from the heaven. No, we can start. We'll just read John 3. And there was a man of the Pharisees, Nicodemus was his name, a ruler of the Yehudim. This one came to Yeshua by night and said to him, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher come from Elohim, for no one is able to do these signs you do if Elohim is not with him. Yeshua answered and said to him, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born from above, he is unable to see the reign of Elohim. Nicodemus said to him, how is a man able to be born when he is old? Is he able to enter into his mother's womb a second time and be born? Yeshua answered, truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he is unable to enter into the reign of Elohim. That which has been born of flesh is flesh, and that which has been born of the Spirit is spirit. Do not marvel that I said to you, you have to be born from above. The wind blows where it wishes, and you hear the sound of it, but do not know where it comes from and where it goes. So is everyone who has been born of the Spirit. Nicodemus answered and said to him, how is it possible for this to take place? Yeshua answered and said to him, are you the teacher of Israel and do not know this? Truly, truly, I say to you, we speak what we know and witness what we have seen, and you do not receive our witness. If you do not believe when I spoke to you about earthly matters, how are you going to believe when I speak to you about the heavenly matters? And no one has gone up into the heaven except he who has come down from the heaven, the Son of Man. And as Moshe lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so the Son of Man has to be lifted up, so that whoever is believing in him should not perish but possess everlasting life. For Elohim so loved the world that he gave his only brought forth Son, so that everyone who believes in him should not perish but possess everlasting life. For Elohim did not send his Son into the world to judge the world, but that the world might through him be saved. He who believes in him is not judged, but he who does not believe is judged already, because he has not believed in the name of the only brought forth Son of Elohim. And this is the judgment, that the light has come into the world, and men love the darkness rather than the light, for their works were wicked. For everyone who is practicing evil matters hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his works should be exposed. But the one doing the truth comes to the light, so that his works are clearly seen, that they have been wrought in Elohim. And after this, Yeshua and his taught ones came into the land of Yehuda, and he remained there with them, and was immersing. And Yohanan was also immersing in Ayin near Selim, because there was plenty of water there. And they were coming, and were being immersed. For Yohanan had not yet been put into prison. Then a dispute arose between some of Yohanan's taught ones and the Yehudim about cleansing. And they came to Yohanan and said to him, Rabbi, he who was with you beyond the Yarden, to whom you have witnessed, see, he is immersing, and all are coming to him. Yohanan answered and said, No man is able to receive any matter unless it is given to him from the heaven. You yourselves are witnesses for me that I said, I am not the Messiah, but I am sent ahead of him. He that has the bride is the bridegroom, but the friend of the bridegroom, who stands and hears him, rejoices greatly because of the voice of the bridegroom. So this joy of mine is complete. It is right for him to increase, but me to decrease. He who comes from above is over all. He who is from the earth is of the earth and speaks of the earth. He who comes from the heaven is over all. And what he has seen and heard that he witnesses, and no one receives his witness. He who receives his witness has set his seal that Elohim is true. For he whom Elohim has sent speaks the words of Elohim, for Elohim does not give the Spirit by measure. The Father loves the Son and has given all into his hand. He who believes in the Son possesses everlasting life, but he who does not obey the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of Elohim remains on him. Elohim does not give the Spirit by measure. Making a weight for the wind and measuring out the waters by measure. But the Spirit is not measured by measure. Okay? So, and I didn't want to read that whole chapter, and yet the Spirit moved me to. And every time I do this, every time I follow the Spirit, I am just so amazed at it. And I shouldn't be amazed, because I believe entirely in it. That's why I'm spending my entire life reading this word to you and explaining it to this degree and showing you these occurrences that, even though I thought that it was in 3, I didn't understand how the entirety of 3 connected to this. I didn't understand where it was in 3 and what it was in 3. Verse 8, the wind blows where it wishes, and you hear the sound of it, but do not know where it comes from and where it goes. So is everyone who has been born of the Spirit. Truly, truly, I say to you, unless one is born of water and the Spirit, he is unable to enter into the reign of Elohim. Verse 5. Verse 34. For he whom Elohim sent speaks the words of Elohim. For Elohim does not give the Spirit by measure. The wind can be measured by weight, and the water measured by measure by Elohim. He knows the hairs on your head. Ah! Praise Yahuwah! Wow! Praise Yahuwah! Say it with me. Scream it in your house. Scream it to the heavens. Go outside and scream it. When he made a law for the rain and a way for the lightning of thunder, then he saw wisdom and declared it. He prepared it and also searched it out. When he made a law for the rain. A law for the rain. He made the Torah for the rain. He made the Torah for the earth. Then he saw wisdom and declared it. In the law. In the law. In the structure. A law for the rain. A way for the lightning. I am the way, the truth, and the life, says Yeshua. 14:6, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. The way, the law. Then he saw wisdom and declared it. He prepared it and also searched it out. What? He prepared it and also searched it out? He made it and drew a map to it? And he said to man, see, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding. And wisdom, where is it found? And where is the place of understanding? And wisdom, from where does it come? And where is the place of understanding? And he said to man, see, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding. Fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning, Elohim. And the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was on the face of the deep. This word formless, I have been instructed that this is actually the term waste place or wasteland or waste place, and darkness was on the face of the deep. Darkness. An end to darkness he has set, and to every limit he is searching, to rocks in deepest darkness. And wisdom, where is it found? And where is the place of understanding? The gemstones, the precious metals, he dams up the sources of the rivers, and he brings to light what is hidden. And wisdom, where is it found? The deep has said, it is not in me, and the sea has said, it is not with me. Gold is not given for it, nor is silver weighed out at its price. No mention of coral or crystal, for the price of wisdom is above rubies. For he looks to the end of the earth and sees all under the heavens, making a weight for the wind and measuring out the waters by silver. He made a law for the rain and a way for the lightning of thunder. Then he saw wisdom and declared it. He prepared it and also searched it out. And Elohim said, let light come to be, and light came to be. And the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. Job says previously in 26, a law of encirclement on the face of the waters until the end of light with darkness. Go up to 6. Sheol is naked before him, Yahweh, and destruction has no covering. He it was who stretched out the north over emptiness, hanging the earth upon space and yet there's underneath of the earth, dug up in turmoil for mining purposes, for rocks and precious metals. Binding up waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not torn under them, covering the surface of his throne, spreading his cloud over it. A law of encirclement on the face of the waters until the end of light with darkness. The column of the heavens tremble and are stunned at his reproof. By his power he has calmed the sea, and his understanding he struck down Rahab. A law of encirclement on the face of the waters. And the spirit of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let light come to be," and light came to be. And Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim separated the light from the darkness. Why are we doing this? Damn. And he said to man, "See, the fear of Yahweh, that is wisdom, and to turn from evil is understanding." Okay, Google, set an alarm for 7 p.m. Got a reminder to take care of there. Sorry. I set this reminder for 4:30. Y'all said set it for 7. And I was like, no way am I going to do this at 7. I'm going to do it at 7. Because that's how perfect Yah is. Everything that you do, you have to listen to El. Man, everything is terrifying. All right. We've got Job 29. It's a long one. I said, this will be short. It's only 2 chapters of Job. An hour and 40 minutes later on the first chapter. What is time? Who cares? Okay. And Job again took up his discourse and said, "Oh, that I were as in months past, and as in the days when Eloah protected me, when his lamp shone on my face, and when I walked in the dark by his light. And I was in the days of my autumn, when the intimacy of Eloah was on my tent, when the Almighty was still with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream, and the rock poured out rivers of oil for me, when I went out by the gate to the gate by the city to take my seat in the open square. The young men saw me and hid, and the aged rose up, they stood. Rulers held back their words and laid a hand on their mouth. The voice of leaders was hushed, and their tongue clung to the roof of their mouth. For when the ear heard, it blessed me, and when the eye saw, it gave witness of me, because I rescued the poor who cried out, and the fatherless who had no helper. The blessing of the perishing one would come upon me, and I made the widow's heart sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it robed me. Right ruling was my cloak and turban. I was eyes to the blind, and I was feet to the lame. I was a father to the poor, and I investigated the case which I did not know. And I broke the jaws of the perverse, and snatched the prey from his teeth. Then I thought I would die in my nest, and increase my days as the sand. My root reaching out to the waters, and dew lying all night on my branch. My esteem fresh within me, and my bow renewed in my hand. They listened. To me they listened, and they waited, and kept silent at my counsel. After my words they did not speak again, and my speech settled on them.
And they waited for me like the rain, and they opened their mouth wide as for the latter rain. I smiled at those who did not believe, and the light of my face did not dim. I chose the way for them, and sat as chief, and dwelt like a sovereign in the army, like one who comforts mourners. Oh, this is interesting to hear, because he's reflecting now on his previous life, how life was at the beginning of this book. We get a lot more into Job's life. We got a very short description, as we usually do in Job 1, of like, here's the scene setting. You know, like even I think of like Ezra, and it's like Ezra, they gave Ezra 1, and in the first year of Koresh, sovereign of Persia, that the word of Yahuwah by the mouth of Yirmiah might be accomplished, Yahuwah stirred up the spirit of Koresh, sovereign of Persia, to proclaim throughout all his reign, and in writing, saying, Thus said Koresh, sovereign of Persia, Yahuwah Elohim of the heavens has given me all the reins of the earth, and he has commanded to me to build a house in Jerusalem, which is in Yehuda. Who is among you of all his people? His Elohim be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Yehuda, and build the house of Yahuwah, Elohim of Yisrael, he is Elohim, which is in Jerusalem. Which is cool. I love that he's giving credit to Yahuwah, but you just don't have, like, we don't even find out who Ezra is until, like, chapter 7? Yeah, 7 chapters in, we get Ezra, you know? And it's just like, so here's the setting. Koresh is the king, and he's going to build a house for Yahuwah, you know? And it's just like, bam, into it. And so also in Job, you know, we get like 2 verses of 3 verses, and then into the first scene, which is, you know, I guess proper because you don't want to have too much. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and straight, and one who feared Elohim and turned aside from evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him, and his possessions were 7,000 sheep, and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys, and a very large body of servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. The greatest of all the people of the East. That's key here, and certainly comes into play with, because he's speaking real tough. He's speaking real highly of himself. So for him to literally be the greatest of all the men in the East, not be a prophet, like we see, you know, like we don't even know, like, why is Isaiah picked? Why are all the priests picked? Like, are they just lineage of Aaron? You know, like what? There's no like, oh, Isaiah was, you know, Isaiah did this, this, and this, and that's why I picked him. You know, we get it with Moses, but we don't. Like, I mean, even like Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you. And before you came out of the womb, I did set you apart. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Praise Yah. You know, so like there's not like an occurrence of events. Whereas with Job, it is actually, he did these actions. He was perfect and straight in the eyes of Elohim. And yeah. Isaiah gets a vision. Ezekiel. For most people, it's decided before, and I'm sure it was with Job, but it just specifically talks about his actions and how righteous of a man he was. Perfect and straight. One who feared Elohim and turned aside from evil. so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. Okay. And then all this befalls him. He's not used as a prophet, as Jeremiah was. Jeremiah is a prophet before birth. Job is walking in righteousness, walking perfectly, and tried by Yahweh. And Job again took up his discourse and said, okay, so now we've got Job talking from 26, 29, and he keeps going. And Job again took up his discourse and said, oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when Eloah protected me. So, months pass. This is, we've got a 7-day timeline here. If all this conversation, 2:13, they sat down with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and no one spoke a word to him, for they saw that the pain was very great. And the day came to be when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding alongside them, when Sheba fell upon them and took them away, and they struck the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came. Verse 17, while he was still speaking, another also came. Verse 18, while he was still speaking, another also came. So, and said, your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brothers, the firstborn, and see, a great wind came from the wilderness and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell on the young men. And they are dead, and I alone have escaped to inform you. So, this one day, they are eating and drinking, and then Job loses everything in a day, and then goes on to lose his kids, and again, the day came to be, then another day. We don't know how, we don't exactly have the perfect timeline, but this right here. Oh, that I were as in months past, not years past, months past. So we get a close association, and these are, I don't know. Do we expect this kind of to be one day as well? Of all this conversation, maybe. At one point, it said 10 times you've rebuked me, and we'd only counted 6. So is there left out dialogue? We really don't know. Who actually recorded this at the time? Who told this? Who, you know what I mean? But there's no, maybe this is given by the Spirit to an author. I don't know, that Yahweh said, this is how you're going to write it in the context of Job, like from the point of view of Job. I don't know. The days when Eloah protected me. He misses those days. Those are nice days when Eloah protects you, when Eloah is blessing you, and now he feels like he's been forsaken. When his lamp shone on my head, when I walked in the dark by his light, as I was in the days of my autumn, when the intimacy of Eloah was on my tent, when the Almighty was still with me, when my children were around me, when my steps were bathed with cream, and the rock poured out rivers of oil for me. Rivers of oil. Where do we want to go? When I went out to the gate by the city to take my seat in the open square. Nope. The young men saw me and hid, and the aged rose up, they stood. Rulers held back their words and laid a hand on their mouth. What is it? When the Almighty was still with me and when my children were around me. This is when his lamp shone on my head, when I walked in the dark by his light. In the dark he has broken into houses. By day they shut themselves up. They have not known light. When I walked in the dark by his light. Proverbs 6. These 6 matters Yahuwah hates, and 6:16 Proverbs. These 6 matters Yahuwah hates, and 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands shedding innocent blood, a heart devising wicked schemes, feet quick to run to evil, a false witness breathing out lies, and one who causes strife among brothers. My son, watch over your father's commands, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother. Bind them on your heart always, tie them around your neck. When you are walking about, it leads you. When you lie down, it guards you, and when you have woken up, it talks to you. For the command is a lamp, and the Torah a light, and reproofs of discipline a way of life, to guard you against an evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a strange woman. This references Psalm 119, 105, which we'll go to. This is 176 verses. None, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Okay. The command is a lamp and the Torah is a light. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. A lamp to my feet and a light to my path. When his lamp, his command, shone on my head, when I walked in the dark by his light, his Torah, when his command shone on my head, and when I walked in the dark by his Torah. Completely interchangeable there. Walked, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. As I was in the days of my autumn, when the intimacy of my Eloah was on my tent. As I was in my flourishing days when God sheltered my tent. When I was in my prime, when God's friendship was felt on my tent. When the as I was in my prime when the friendship of God was upon my tent. As I was in the days of my youth, when the secret of God was upon my tabernacle. Autumn being the chosen season of prime here. Kind of surprised that it's not spring, but autumn is a prime season. You know, it just, to me, is more like being in upstate New York. autumn, like everything starts to die in autumn. So yeah, but I could see it being in other, especially in the desert people in the east, autumn, like winter being a more comfortable time. Autumn, I mean, weather-wise, is prime here, you know. And you look outside and you see the leaves wisping around. It's beautiful. Okay. As I was in the days of my prime, when the intimacy of Eloah was on my tent. That is your prime, when you have Yah with you. When the Almighty was still with me, when my children were around me. Harken back to literally his children. And Bildad the Shuhite answered and said, Rule and fear belong to him, making peace in his high places. Is there any number to his armies? And on whom does his light not rise? When his lamp shone on my head, and when I walked in the dark by his light. When the intimacy of Eloah was on my tent. On whom does his light not rise? So how could men be righteous before El? Or how could he be flawless who is born of a woman? See, even the moon does not shine, and the stars have not been flawless in his eyes. Because he made the light. Yeshua is the light. When my steps were bathed with cream, and the rocks poured out rivers of oil for me. My steps were bathed with cream. Like, he's walking on cream. If you've ever walked on hard ground, rocks, cobblestone, it's just icky. It's tough for the feet. The rock poured out rivers of oil for me.
to find. We're just about to look it up. But if they did not cry out, the stones would. We're going to take a pause.